Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Steve and Travis.
I made it.
How you doing, Travis?
Good. I just got off the phone with Jimmy talking about the worlds.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just watched. Interesting. A lot of good people there, and a lot of good people missing.
You know, it's
Uh,
a it's a scary thing holding the world right before the Olympics like this.
yeah, it sure is. It sure is, and we'll see what a difference it makes. But I mean, tomorrow. I mean, still some good fights. Just see how many people make it out of here without any major injuries or maybe peaking too soon.
Uh, and also just seeing how the referees are going to be changing their refereeing style between
Yeah.
now and the worlds. Like, was it the Russian or the Georgian that got dinged in the semis and couldn't come back for bronze because
Yeah.
of that? Like,
Yep.
Waki Katami, like, step in
Yep.
front. It's like,
It was a
I
Georgian.
know
Yeah.
for a fact that's going to piss Visa off if at the Olympic Games people are DQ'd in the final for something that like we've done for 50 years
Yeah.
with no issues.
Yep. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
The good
Uh,
news is Angie directly qualified, winning that first fight.
yep.
So we're guaranteed 4 now,
Okay.
possibly 5 if John Jane, does some damage or Mariah Hogan, like, you know, finds a horseshoe somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing to have the worlds now and not have it. I mean, having the opportunity to slip in with a draw that's a little more favorable to you. Uh, but so it goes. Good for them. Good for them. You know, what one of the things that was on my mind after our camp last week, and I wrote to Jimmy that I feel like the kids that we have they're all good kids and they try hard and they don't understand the difference between being aggressive and pressuring their opponent and
Controlled aggression,
and
such a skill set.
yeah and they don't understand how to force someone to make a mistake, put someone in, and recognize when they're putting people in an uncomfortable situation so they do it over and over again. uh, and having the stamina to push and push and push. I don't see that mentality in them. Not questioning the ability, which may be questionable. I know for my kids it is, but I just don't see that mentality of I'm going to force this person, to go here. I'm going to force them to make a mistake. I could sense they're getting a little tired, and I'm going to be stepping it up another notch to really make them, uncomfortable. I just don't see that mentality.
It's not something you can teach. It's something that they either choose to, develop or ignore. It There's no way of forcing some of these things that you need to compete at the highest level to learn those things, right?
Yeah.
Like you either figure it out and you have it or you don't. And it's a crappy thing to say, but that's why not everybody can make it. It's why when you're training in a room, some people in the room can win the worlds and others can't. It's
Yep.
just how you approach practice, how you approach training, how you think about it, how you apply it. And then there are other outside factors that also weigh into it on like the availability of training partners in your area where you grew up, like the resources that you have,
Yep.
like all those types of things. It can even go as far at the highest level to say like, if you decided, and I had this conversation in private with a bunch of people of like, certain athletes have the talent and the drive, but they choose to identify as a type of fighter that does not suit them or suit like their weight class.
Mhm.
And then once that happens, it's hard to get them out of that like realm. Like if you're 5'2" or 5'6" and you're 81 kilos trying to be an Uchimata player where everyone averages out at like 5'10" to 5'11" and 6'1", like that's a tough that's
Yeah.
a tough throw to do when you're like 4 or 5 inches shorter than everybody else. It's not that you can't, and it's not that you can't be the person who breaks the mold. It's just a lot more difficult to get solid throws off. It's no different than like, hey man, like you're 6 inches taller than everybody in the division. You probably shouldn't identify as a drop Sayanagi player. You should
Oh, yeah.
probably learn to use your length and like the advantages that you have.
Yeah, without a
So
doubt. I mean, it's with everything. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And you want to make sure you limit your weaknesses and go play toward your strengths.
yeah,
And hopefully you have some guidance from someone that says, listen, your legs are another 3 inches longer than everyone else's. You should be reaching, whether it's a Shimano, Soto, whatever. I mean, using your what God gave you to your advantage, without a doubt.
it can be as simple too as like, well, I'm a 66 player. I'm not 73. And it's like people start to take pride in like who they are and like their division. It's my division. This is where I'm supposed to be instead of like the professional advice, um, that, people give. I yelled at the kids the other day when they were practicing about like, dude, some of you guys have been here for like 5 years. 5 years. You're still doing the techniques we taught you on day one wrong. You moved all the way here to do it your way. Like, I don't need to be here if you're going to do it your way. I got more important things to do. I have other jobs to do, other businesses to run, to have to donate my time to somebody that is going to do it their way, anyways. And a
Yeah.
lot of people really struggle to like give up that kind of control. I was one of them. I fought Big Jim on it for years. We hated each other. Eventually, I broke down and I started doing it his way. But you know, it's a challenge.
Yep. Yep. But that's why you go to a coach, right? You want to be better. Of course, you got to pick the right coach, but you go to a coach, you want to be better. And if he's a good coach, he's going to find a way to get through to you, even if it's with a hammer rather than an olive branch. But get through to you where you start making the change. Interesting. Before we get to the videos today, I try to explain to my kids when we go to a camp that has a technical aspect of it, a good technical aspect of it. When we go back, we have to practice what we learned. I mean, otherwise, we go to a camp, we go home. It's like going on vacation. It means nothing. So we started going over some of the Newaza moves, and I watched the kids were not just getting the wrist correctly. So today I brought my phone, I set it up, and I put a video from the American Judo system, which apparently no one has an idea that exists. And I put it on just the wrist section. I said, guys, there's 6 sections here. We're starting with 1. I want everyone to watch it. Everyone watch it. So we sat and watched it. And I said to him, I go, you know where I got this? YouTube. Somewhere. I said, no, no, no. This is, you all have access to this. Do you know? No, I don't know. So I sat him down and showed him how to get there. And of course, I gave him an assignment. But we watched the video. We went through the moves. We sat. I said, guys, it didn't work right. Let's watch the video again and redo it. The content, much to other people's maybe not understanding, is phenomenal to learn judo. It's phenomenal to learn judo. So it was actually a great class, and the kids did really well, step by step, learning the techniques after we learned them already in Boston, but going through them again and again. It was quite good.
Not to harp on like the value of American judo, but I guess to have the conversation for people just in an open dialogue. Like the biggest complaint I get about American judo is the idea that you can't learn judo online. And the funny part is like even your era, we all learned judo through video.
Yeah.
Whether they're recorded videos of athletes competing that we're breaking down, or whether they're instructionals that we find on Instagram or highlights that we find on Facebook, regardless of how it is, we're digesting the content digitally through a screen and then trying to mimic it in the dojo. And that has value. Even even for me after my career in 2016, I was traveling the world filming like Basili, filming Wang, filming Jun, like, and I was watching them like teach it. And I was like, if I only knew some of the things that they were showing, like 10 years at
Yep.
the start of my career that I knew now, like the I had been world champion multiple times over.
Yep.
Just because like you watch it, you don't truly understand it until they're like telling you how it works and why it works and when to apply it. And you're like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The other thing is that people have to understand that repetition is the mother of all learning, and you need to do it every day over and over and over again. You can't come have one session, you do it, and you go, okay, I got it, and I'm done. It's got to be every single day. You have to practice it until it becomes so second nature, and then you still practice it. Uh, it's critical that you practice hard.
Yeah, the I think the thing that gets really underlooked from a judo player's development side as like an athlete, regardless of their age. I don't care if you're 40 or if you're 12. The number one thing that you should be trying to develop over your technique is your athletic ability.
Yeah.
Most people don't even have the athletic ability to do the move correctly, whether that's a mobility thing, a strength thing, a flexibility thing. Most of it's coordination based, and they just can't figure out how to like close their eyes and touch their nose.
Yeah.
And if they can focus more on the athletic side of it, which is where, believe it or not, like the warm ups in judo are really important because
Yep.
it helps you get through that like athletic development stage and stay up to date and practice and get, I don't want to use the term warmed up, but that athletic part of your body like working and that part of your brain working again so that you can do the techniques properly where you're not like confined to this box.
So when I write to beginning coaches or when I write on my coach's letter, it's always we start with a round peg in a square hole. It doesn't fit, and slowly our body starts to change. And getting into the correct judo positions are not normal. You take a
Hmm.
guy off the street and have him bend his hips and bring his shoulders back. It's very abnormal, and it takes years to get your body soft enough to fit in where you need to fit. It takes time.
E- Even when I teach jujitsu classes, my number one saying to new students is like, if it feels right, you're definitely doing it wrong. Like you're definitely doing it wrong, guys. Like just letting you know right now, because like it's like regardless of the technique you're trying to learn, like it just shouldn't feel right. And if it does, you're gonna be world champion in a couple of years because you just naturally figured this out.
Yep. Yep. That's hard. Judo's hard, and it takes time, and it takes time. And if you work with adults that learn judo for the first time when they've already stiffened up their body, you see the challenge that's really clear. You know how hard it is for them to bend in those positions.
Yep. That's why judo's really got to be learned at a
Right.
kid's level because they're naturally like sponges and they bend and move in ways that are a little bit easier when
Without a
you're
doubt.
younger, you know, and then it just becomes a repetition pattern over the years that becomes normal.
So, and again, I believe, just like you said, that in the beginning in a curriculum, you're doing more warm up and more agility, more other things in judo than actually learning the techniques. The techniques are, yeah, you learn the steps and you do repetition, but the other aspect of getting your body more athletic, is makes the big difference.
Yeah. And
Cool.
sorry for the beeping, guys. I don't know if you can hear it, but they got the Nationals last practice happening right now. We scheduled the live session during during their training session. So I had to put the class on the menu on the board, and they're just going through it.
Should we get to some questions? I think we've got a handful of questions here.
Oh, didn't even have the chat opened.
We start. Where do we start here? Let me go all the way to the bottom. Okay. Click on okay. Help my judo drastically train under a fourth dan Olympian. Hey, Travis, good to see you live. You've helped my judo drastically. Very, very good to hear, Joe. Joe, we never stop learning. I never stop learning. And just so you know, even though I teach, when I was in Boston for the camp just now, I went to the senior, the beginning class and the junior class, not only to help teach, but also to see what's going on. And I'm never, ever, ever too old to learn. I'm always looking to learn. So I'm glad you're still learning, because we all want to still learn. Ben Toombs, it's like a chess match. Well, Ben, I'll answer this and then I'll leave Travis answer a few. You're absolutely right. In judo, Travis and I will both tell you that every move we make is by design. When our opponent does something, we respond by design. And when we are setting up a move, we're setting it up 3 moves in advance. Judo is a game that you have to think and you have to plan and you have to force people into making mistakes. And that's whether you want to call them baiting or anything. And that's how all games are played. So it's very much like a chess match. We are, and the more we practice and play the game, the more we recognize is when we force these mistakes, there are different ways people respond, and we have an answer for all those responses. So, I mean, that's the way you think when you play judo. It's in your mind. And I'll tell you this, I say this all the time. A great technician that plays the game average is an average player. A good technician that plays the game great can be an Olympic champion. So, I mean, understanding how to play is critical in being able to win at a high level. Now, I won't answer the "I love you," Travis. I hope I hope Khalid on. I don't know what to tell you.
I was having a conversation, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, with some of the kids, and they were trying to understand that concept of like the game and the back and forth. And I was like, think about it like this. If I had to get an animal into a pen, right? It's really difficult if I start chasing the animal, right? Because it's like they see me coming and they understand like what I'm trying to do and they're running away the whole time. I was like, you got to kind of figure out like how to bang a stick against the wall to get the animal to go left. And then when it walks past the pen, you got to bang a stick on your left to make it go right until you can funnel it into the cage. The better you are at it, right? The more I can funnel that animal into the area I really want it to go. That's kind of what judo's like. We do all these like movements and kicks and feints and things to get that person to kind of go where we need them to go without them knowing it. Then we can start rattling off attacks. It's difficult for people to understand because it's so hidden. You can't see it. It's like a pressure that's like felt back and forth between 2 athletes.
Yeah, and with that, you learn to anticipate the response because you know you're
Correct.
forcing it, and then you know how to take advantage of it because you know what's going to come.
And at the end of the day, it's all a guess. It's
Yeah.
all a guess. You're guessing. They're educated guesses based on what's happened to you in the past, based on what you feel like you can defend versus other things, based on like what you know about the other person and their capabilities and what they've done to other people. And all that information gets processed in like a split second.
And that's why when you do judo, you can't work out 3 times a week. You can't do 3 rounds of randori. I mean, you got to be training and doing round after round after round. So you start to get the feel of how the response is. Everyone's not going to respond the same way, but you're going to have a majority, and that's going to give you that little bit of an edge to know how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you definitely there's a volume component to this that just most people don't understand. I was telling the kids after the camp, like, because I did a couple of the rounds, I was like, I did 2 rounds, guys. I threw more people in those 2 rounds than you guys did all weekend. So, like, you got to kind of put it into perspective. Like, if you're not attacking and you're not scoring, like, we really gotta fix this. Even at the highest levels, like, you've got to be able to like put people into the floor and go.
Well, you heard my comment that I want to hear the mat. I want to hear someone slap the mat. And every time I heard it, it was you throwing someone. Someone. The kids weren't doing it.
To answer that question, Mark, about what a good practice would look like, I think I would have to explain that over the course of like a full month for like veterans and masters competitors. I wouldn't do randori standing from the feet probably more than twice a month. There's too much risk. There's not enough conditioning, and at some point when you're banged up and you're worried about walking the next day or having a sore back, you start making decisions based on how you're going to feel in the future. And when you do that, you start to create these like flinches or pauses or hesitations within the randori session that you really want to try to avoid. um, as professional athletes, most of it we accept and we push through. But I can tell you right now that there were times where like I would see an opportunity for a drop sayo in training and even in competitions, and I'm like, I just really don't want to get kneed in the ribs. I just really don't want to do it. And then I end up not doing it. And that's a sign of like being too tired, being overly exhausted. I focus most of my training on like strength development, coordination, a lot of combinations, a lot of movement, a lot of throws on the crash pad, a lot of play randori where it's like we're just entering and trying to find like how we're getting into our throws with our movements, light gripping, and really figuring out how to have fun where we're playing a game. And it's not so much like ego driven where like you threw me here or there. I still have good rounds like that even today with some of the guys here at the club where it's like we both are playing and we're not fighting. And that's more where I would try to get with the masters and veterans.
Yep. And let me just respond to one gentleman, Ben Toombs, I think it is, who he was born with one arm. Ben, kudos to you for doing judo like that, and that's really great. Judo's a great sport, and I don't know if you know a guy named Joe Walters. Joe Walters has one leg. He lost his leg in Vietnam, and he fought in all of our nationals. And he was a tough guy, and his sole goal was to get you on the ground. And if you got on the ground with him, he'd let you pin him and he'd turn you over. The guy had incredible strength, but he fought with one leg, and he is a very, very special person. So you should look him up and read about him. And he's a guy that went through judo and still does, and fought at all levels. So kudos to you, and I think it's great. And if keep doing judo and see if there's a way you can compete. But good for you. Good for you for that.
Yes, I did get my black belt in 18 months or 16 months, something just under 2 years. I don't know the exact month. It was a long time ago. So yeah, that was a thing that happened. I think another one here for the comment. Steve and I were talking about this, and we are actually talking about doing it on a more frequent basis. If you guys feel like it's valuable content or you want to see it, but predictions and analysis of major competitions. I think Steve and I are definitely going to do the Paris Olympics, but we've been talking about like doing it for like this World Championships, a lot of the Grand Slams, to do predictions on how the draws turned out, and follow through watching matches and videos just to let you guys know how we're thinking and we're paying attention to judo. Everything judo is good.
And again, one of the things that pushed me when I was younger is I was a fan of judo. And at that time, there were only magazines, and I read every magazine I could. And I loved it. And having an opportunity to listen to commentary or, talking about the upcoming competition or following the competition, if I had that opportunity, that would be phenomenal for me because I love hearing about judo. And it's so competitive and it's so good now that, I'm glad you're interested because we're interested in doing that too.
It's actually content that's like fun to make.
Yes.
Unless you're wrong all the time, then it's not that fun.
I saw a comment from a heavyweight. I don't know who was asking something.
Oh, Koshiguruma is my throw.
Yeah. So Koshiguruma is a heavyweight. I fought some really big guys that Koshiguruma would be very hard to do it on. As a heavyweight, I mean, if you're 6'6", and you have that ability to get over these people, possibly. But, for me, I was 6'1", and almost everyone I fought, I was looking up to. So Koshiguruma was a challenge. It was a challenge as a heavyweight. It's good to do. For me, Osoto and Tayo worked better for me and Ouchi on the heavyweights. But like I said, I fought guys that were 6'10". Koshiguruma was not an option.
I just blasted. Hail Mary.
You blast it. Yeah. Yeah. Rashwan puts 380 pounds on you, leans on you, and you can't lift your foot. It's a little harder.
I'm going to watch this. 100 kilos. Is that Wolf?
What? Oh, you watch a video? Yeah, that's Wolf.
Yeah.
These are all current videos from the last Grand Slam.
Oh.
I can't see it for some reason.
Oh, man.
Why can't I see it?
I don't know, but it was nice. I'm going to watch it again. Oh, it paused. Oh, wait, we got to go back.
So why can't I see it?
Oh.
That's a nice Uchimata, huh?
It's the feint that I like.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, see if everyone else can see the video.
Oh, man.
Can you talk about a little strange behind the shoulder, left hand grip over? Okay, I'm gonna have to yell at Dylan. I can't see the video. You can see it, everyone but me. Travis is punishing me. What did I do here? There we are.
No, hey, go back to the video. Don't click buttons just because you can't see it.
I can't comment. Are you on the first video?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. I can't see it, but that's okay.
Oh.
Obviously, I picked them out, so I know what. Yeah, it was, and again, when I'm working with my kids, they make one attack and then they're done, and they move around. They want to think of something else. They never follow up. hop on the stream, Steve. Yeah, Norman, I'm trying to. I just don't know.
No, he means watch it through YouTube. Just click on the YouTube stream. I'm confused because I'm not sure. I don't see his left hand is on the collar on the chest. So I'm not sure. I don't see it behind the shoulder. Yeah, it's on the collar. It's just the gi jacket's moving around a lot, and a lot of people like to open up that jacket, especially collar players, and put that hand high so that they can control the head. Yeah, that's a typical judo hand position to be. Is that hand should be sitting right at about the ear level when you're playing judo, because you want the forearm framed across the chest. Oof. Yeah, so he's got that bottom part of his forearm pinned right up against that guy's shoulder, because that's what gets that head to come down for the rotation to happen. I believe they are going to change. I find it very hard to believe that the IJF is going to keep the rules the same.
You know, we did talk about that on the interview with Neil and Jimmy. That when these people have access to it, they'll be able to see. We did talk about some rule changes that Neil thought were going to be coming.
You want to share with us some of what those were?
Yeah, one is the penalty for when you're throwing someone. If your hand drops a half inch below the belt, they consider that grabbing the legs, and you get a penalty. That's something they're looking to change. If you're not actually grabbing the leg and you're just in your technique, your hand drops down a little below the belt. That's one of them. The other one is that calling a wazari when someone is on their side leaning toward their stomach as opposed to on their side leaning toward their back, as that turns. They're looking to, Neil thought that was something that they may be changing, that you have to be at least heading toward your back as opposed to your stomach, which was, I thought, a good.
That's going to be a dramatic change.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of calls that way.
Massive.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Hold on. For those of you guys who aren't aware, hold on a second. Hold on. We got to talk about that one for a second, because not everybody is aware of how judo used to be pre-Steve's era, right? Where it was just wazari and ippon.
No, that's my era.
No, it's going way back. You're closer to the newer age stuff.
I fought in the 70s. Come on. I had two careers.
Man, could you imagine how much that's going to change the sport if all the Koka ideas, the Yuko ideas, and like what we determine a score is today has to be like straight 90 or past to the back?
Yep.
Ooh. Wow.
Yep. No, again, that was his thought. I don't know how much of that is going to happen, but that's what we talked about.
Wow.
Oh, this I can see finally.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're gonna like this, Travis. You're gonna like this.
Oh, he got him with the flood. Oh, he didn't.
Oh,
no way.
Watch this.
How do people mess this up? This is embarrassing. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I believe that was the Taipei guy who got the who had the waki done to him in the Worlds.
Yeah. but like, how do you mess this up?
Yeah, I just like this guy's Newaza sequence. He was
But
not
like
giving up.
right here, how do you mess that up? How do you mess
Yeah.
that up? How do you not pin that guy right there? How does that not happen? And then like I do this every time we talk about Newaza, like every time you just like how does that happen? Come on, guys, like how do you just get pushed over? It's not like he's at like training camp training with like a 73 kilo guy fighting a 60 guy and the 73
Yep.
kilo guy pushed him over. You know, like how does this happen? I can't in my wildest dreams imagine just sitting in turtle with a guy latched onto my arm and he just pushes me over.
Yep.
And not only did he like push him over, but like the arm just popped out
Easily.
like a weed, like a daisy, just like boop.
I think he was done. This is a gold medal match.
He's not even holding anything.
Yep.
What is going on here? Like how does that like how do you lose all this?
I've got some more good Newaza ones in here too.
Oh my god, I'm just upset. Like this is almost as bad as like that guy in the UFC who like threw the guy in the air, then latched onto the arm, and like, how does that happen? That's a big dude.
It's Saito.
Oh, he's doing the Tolzer. He's doing the Tolzer. He's just gonna yank him over. Yeah. Tolzer used to that all the time. I used to sit in the stands watching him going, I can't believe he fucking gets that. And I get that he's a really strong dude, but like at some point the judo community has to wake up and be like, you can't just lay on the ground and wait. I mean, this guy was going to lose anyways. He's got 2 Shidos, a minute left against Saito. He was done anyways, but still. Like, he just has to walk his hips. Just walk your hips away. Like, why are you just going to lay there? Such a heavyweight thing to do.
Yep. Well, he ain't getting up.
Nah. Not a chance. Not a chance. Oh.
This kid is really good. Stump. He's really good.
Oh. Absolutely, Norman. Some clubs that are at a lower level just don't do Newaza. They just don't. They just don't care.
It's a mistake.
Oh. There's just such a physical strength difference when that happens.
And I watched 4 videos of him doing stuff. This was the best one, but he throws people like this all the time. Quite impressive.
Is he listed for the Worlds?
Yep. He won the Europeans.
I saw this one.
Yes.
Oh man, the commitment.
Yep. What a big step.
Oof. I really wish people understood how much strength that takes and like dexterity within the body.
Yeah, look at the extension of the hip when he steps in. Lombardo. Yes, Lombardo. He is something.
Oh, and like I like to gauge this out for people, right? Can I pause this? Pause. Right. I just want you guys to go to like your like local dojo. Just go to your tatami, right? And look at your tatami, right? He covers so much distance. That's 2 meters he steps. 2 meters. 6 feet as a 66-kilo guy that probably is 5'6" tall. Like just go to your club and just have your partner back up and try to pull this throw off with no resistance. Just try to even get into the position. It is wildly difficult. I remember watching a video of Moriyama one time covering 3 meters for his Uchimata. Oof. So impressive.
And look at the commitment. Got the big step.
Oh. Just the weight of that guy sprawling while you're in that position. My back hurts, my shoulder hurts. Like you saw me just rub my shoulder. Like it's just like I feel it. I feel that. Man. Oh. Donked him right on his head too.
Yeah, I love the way he just walks right in. Walks right in. It's beautiful. There's a little more Newaza. Here's a well again the last Grand Slam.
Should have done Sankaku right there. Should have waited.
Yeah, a little late, but she gets it.
Again, just fucking laying there doing nothing. Oh, now we're gonna try to get up. Let's wait till it's locked up and secured. Then let's try to figure this out. The stupidity. The stupidity.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Like why would you wait?
Yeah.
I'd have done Sankaku right there and just kept the sleeve and just yanked her. But I guess if your partner's not going to play defense or offense, you might as well do it whenever you want.
So a lot of people think they could stand up out of Sankaku, but not if you're good. They
won't. That's like the worst response.
Yep, I agree.
It's just the worst response. Ooh, big guys. That guy looks tall. Oh, no. That's embarrassing. Look at him. He doesn't even know what to say. He's like, what am I going to do? Man.
Yeah, I pulled this one out. I really, I thought this was nice. I like heavyweights doing Tayo.
Oh. That's more of like a Seotoshi, though, because like jacked him up in the air. Oh, cross gripping. Oh, man.
Good judo, huh?
Impressive.
I like seeing big guys do
This guy's about to get laid out. That's not smart. Didn't see that coming, though.
Yeah, nice Ochi.
You don't usually see the big guys like
nope, not like that.
Down like that.
Yeah. And I like the way he came up and just drove chest to chest.
I kind of want to watch like a minute and a half back just to like understand
Yep.
like what he was thinking when he was like, I got it. Drop Ouchi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what leads him to be like, we're in a heavyweight fight. I'm gonna drop underneath him with an Ouchigari. And the guy had his neck and everything.
Yeah.
That's just a power difference.
Nice move.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I hope Blue loses.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Snap his arm. Get him. Get him. Yes, get him. Get him. That's what you get for doing a stupid throw.
That guy's really good too.
Those of you guys watching, don't ever do that Tomonagi scissor kick the leg out thing. Stupid. You deserve to get slapped. I still can't believe he gets out of that. Just no head control, no pressure.
It gives you an idea why it's so important to do newaza. I mean, you just have to do newaza.
Look at that. No pressure on the head. He should have gotten out of that.
You know?
If he just knew what he was doing. Wow, that'd be a fun match to watch. The Georgian versus the French guy, 81 kilo, round of 32. What tournament is this? Europeans?
What was the last one? No, this is the where was the last Grand Slam? It may be the Europeans, I'm not sure. I look for this guy because he's so good. 73 kilo.
Boom. Oh, do newaza, people. Do it right. That doesn't mean go to your local jiu-jitsu school. It means do newaza. Don't bail.
And drill when you do newaza. Do your moves over and over and over again.
Yes, as many times as possible. And then once you get good at it, then aggressively as possible.
Yep.
All right, though, guys. That's all we have time for today, though.
That was a good session.
I got to finish out the guys' senior national training prep camp.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, everybody.